Boom, shakalaka boom. You tuned in to the free range human show of choice, your daily dose of reality radio. It starts right now. This is the Clay Edwards Show. I am, of course, Clay Edwards, the maestro of chaos, the captain of incendiary, the host with the most. This is the Clay Edwards Show. I am back after a little midsummer vacation with all of the big stories. Man, did some stuff happen. We're on 103.9 WYAB. That is the 50,000 megawatt flamethrower right here in central Mississippi. We're streaming worldwide and live over on the Mazda of Jackson live stream as I get a few little tweaks taken care of here. Coming up in the next segment, we'll have our good friend Sean Yurtkaran in for the remaining hour, to the top of the hour, I guess, the remaining of this hour. What remains in this hour? I will get it right in a second here. You would think I can't talk. It's like I forget the entire intro after taking a little vacation. I've been out since Thursday, but I have gone live a couple times from the house. And we did some shows, made some content, had our biggest day in social media history yesterday on my Facebook page with over 6 million views in one day across the board there on the different posts. Absolutely insane. One post did 4.7 million views. It may have done more than that. We did over 9 million views this week, and I think the majority of them were yesterday. Crazy what we did on social. I say we, but it is we. There's me, and there's people behind the scenes that help me that y'all don't know about. So shout out to them. Shout out to everybody for setting an epic, epic day. What we're going to do today, we're going to talk in this first hour about what happened in Hinds County yesterday, or in the federal courtroom yesterday. We're going to wait till Sean comes on for that. We're going to start with what happened down on the coast and the fallout from that, because that is such a hot story right now. The young black kid, 18 years old, Nolan Xavier Wells, passing away, being found dead there on Horn Island. Before we get into that real quick, the show is powered by the free testosterone screenings over at Live Better Men's Health and Wellness out there in Gluckstadt, Mississippi. Guys, did you go to a 4th of July party this weekend and maybe you were the flabbiest guy there? Maybe you had the least muscle mass there. Maybe you just didn't quite having that confidence with your shirt off around everybody. Let me help you fix that problem. Let's start with a free testosterone screening, and then let's go from there. If you're feeling weak, having problems building muscle, can't sleep, just feel like, meh, you're just living life to live. It's just a journey. There is no destination. You don't have any goals. You just, you don't have any energy at nighttime. You come home, you just want to sit on the couch and watch TV, drink a couple beers, eat something unhealthy, go to sleep. That's not what you need to be doing. You need to be living life to the fullest. You need to be living every day like it's your last. And when you lose your testosterone, it just happens inch by inch by inch by inch. It's like death by 1,000 paper cuts until one day you're in your mid-30s, late 40s, early 40s, whatever. Sometime after about 30 years old, you wake up and you've got sub-300 testosterone levels when you should be closer to 1,000, all things being equal. Let's get you back up to 900 or so. Let's get you back up to feeling like you could win any title out there. Whether you can or not, let's give you that confidence back. Let's get you on that testosterone. Let's get them levels back right. Text Clay to 601-633-9017, 601-633-9017, or go to livebettermen.com, livebettermen.com, and Scott McCullough is going to get you hooked up with a free testosterone screening today. All right, again, we are streaming worldwide on the Mazda Jackson live stream. If you want to jump in the comments, you can do so at SaveJXN on Facebook, YouTube, and X. and we are on YouTube in two different formats, portrait and landscape. So portrait's where you hold your phone straight up and down. Landscape is where you hold it sideways, widescreen. So if you're watching on a TV and you don't like the format that it's on, you can switch over by going to my profile or my channel, whatever you want to call it, and selecting the other stream. It does two different streams. It's hard to tell which one's which until you click on it. So just FYI, there's two different versions on YouTube. So if you don't like watching the straight up and down version, the portrait version on your TV, you can switch to the landscape version. You just got to click on it and find it. Shouldn't be a problem. All right. I've got my buddy here in the studio with me, Creston Birch. He is back from vacation himself. Just retired from Clinton Police Department after 30 years. He sat in with me a couple days last week. I enjoyed the conversation, so we've invited him back. Again, we're going to have Sean Yerkeron here at the top of the next segment, around 7:25. But let's jump into it, shall we? I woke up yesterday morning, what was supposed to be a day off, and your boy made a post, and I went nuclear viral. 4.7 million views later for what is hands down, not even a close second, the biggest single Facebook post I've ever put out on social media. And it's plain and simple. I'm pulling it up now because I want to read it verbatim to you. And I'm going to give you out the Ellis Autoplex text line here in a minute. I have flooded you with a bunch of information, but I'm going to tell you how you can contact the show. And who knows, I might even open the phone lines for you anger addicts here in a little bit. We shall see. I don't trust y'all. Based on the inbox messages I've gotten, I don't know that I can trust y'all on the phone, but I got a dump button, so we will see. I'm sharing my... If y'all are watching on Facebook right now, do me a favor. Hit that share button. Just share. Hit share. Those shares help us more than any other single thing you can do on social media, especially on Facebook. If you're on YouTube, hit the like button. As I stroll down here also, I want to say one more thing. We hit 89,000 followers on Facebook last night. I just hit 88,000 the day before. We did another 1,000 new followers in one day. So thank you for getting us to 89,000. I'm going to do a free beer bash somewhere when we get to 100,000. And at this rate, that might be in a couple weeks. But my birthday's August 17th. That's a Monday. So I'm thinking maybe that's Saturday the 15th. If you crazy animals keep hitting that subscribe button, we could be doing the same before the end of August. So just keep in mind that. All right. And yes, we are going to talk about the mayor of Jackson. That is what this whole platform is built on. It's coming. It's coming. And I know I'm just filling dead air right now talking, but I'm getting to what I'm looking for. And we're about to hit a home run. Here we go. Creston, are you ready?
Man, this ought to be good.
So I'm going to read what I posted yesterday that sent the internet into absolute tailspin. I've never seen nothing like it. I thought I was telling people that water was wet and the sky was blue, but apparently I said something that was totally unexpected, had never been said before, and people are big mad about it. I mean, people now, as for the ones that are mad, there's also people who 100% agree. But they're, the silent majority, as they say.
It's the old third we've talked about. The third that are with you, the third that are always against you, and the third in the middle.
All right, so I got the photo pulled up here, if you're watching on the live stream. All right, so what we got here, and there was an update since I originally posted this, and the update is they have, in fact, found the young man dead on the island. So I guess that would rule out drowning. But here's what I posted yesterday. It says, while authorities are actively searching for 18-year-old Nolan Xavier Wells, the culture has already decided exactly what happened. This young black man who went missing on Horn Island, down on the Gulf of America in Mississippi, had to have been unalived by his white friends. Now, let me set this up for y'all. There's several photos of him out on a boat. He's the only minority. I think he's a mixed kid, too, from the looks of it, but I could be wrong. It doesn't matter. The race doesn't matter at all to me, honestly. We're only talking about this because the culture and their knee-jerk reaction on this. The culture's taken a lot of L's lately. You would think they would try to start sitting these things out and at least waiting on the evidence to come out, but that's not what they do. That low impulse control gets the best of them. So look, with zero evidence, zero information, he was still missing at the time I posted this. But after sitting at home over the weekend, I guess they popped in an old DVD of the movie Get Out. You need to Google it if you don't know what I'm talking about. The mob is 100% convinced that racism is the cause of death. Case closed. Judge, jury, executioner. Case closed. It was racism killed him. Well, but what did they do? It's racism, we told you. That's the cause of death. Racism. So I just said, well, look, how about we wait and see actually what happened before we destroy these kids' lives for the crime of having a black friend. And then I said this, and I'm standing on this. I've said it a couple more times since I said it the initial time yesterday. We often hear from black folks that tell us that they have to have a talk with their kids, a talk that white families don't have to have. And that talk is about how to act on traffic stops. And based on the way a majority of them act on traffic stops, or at least the traffic stops gone bad I see, that talk must go something along the lines of do whatever the cop says do the complete opposite. That must be the talk. Do not comply. That must be the conversation, because my goodness, it never fails. I say it all the time. Comply, don't die. And it's like a bunch of kamikaze pilots flying straight into whatever the worst case scenario could possibly be on a traffic stop and doing the thing that will negatively affect them the most. But I digress. The conversation that I think white families at this pace are going to have to start having with their children is plain and simple. It's not about racism, but it's about risk mitigation. Am I saying that right? You want to mitigate your risk.
Absolutely.
And at this point, just having a black friend is a risk, not because the black friend's going to do anything to you inherently, but because if something is to happen or were to happen to that black friend while they're out with their white friends, the court of public opinion is immediately going to crucify the white friends. And if they're young like this, their parents are getting it too. So the culture has decided that these people have killed this kid. They are now, all because of racism, there must be some Klan activity involved here. They're trying to get their parents fired. They're trying to cancel these kids. They're going through every social media post ever, trying to piece a puzzle together, like that meme of a college professor on a massive chalkboard with all these mathematical equations and stuff, trying to equal racism. And you just seriously got to ask yourself, and I'm not telling anybody don't have black friends, but I'm just saying it ain't working out well here lately for the white folks with black friends, because they're constantly getting crap thrown at them when they've done nothing wrong. You can look at Carmelo Anthony and what happened with Austin Metcalf in the presence of a young black guy. You can look at what's happening with these young men. And look, we don't know what happened. They might be guilty, but I sure as hell would like to find out first. At least let's get a cause of death. And keep in mind, at this point, we didn't even know if he was alive or not when they were making these accusations.
What are we, 36, 72 hours into this, and they've already immediately said this is what it is. The very first post I saw yesterday was, "Don't be the only one," and I'm like, "You got to be kidding me!"
What do you mean? Don't be the only one?
Don't be the only black guy in the bunch.
Oh yeah, and of course, it's also come out that, and it didn't take long. I shared the post. Well, I screenshot it because I'm not going to give these terrible creators I'm not going to let them get the engagement on it. I'm going to get the engagement.
Oh, yeah.
But, of course, and I knew it was going to happen, it devolved immediately into he has a white girlfriend. Yep, he has a white girlfriend. So this must have all happened because they're going to teach that boy a lesson. Yeah. You think you're our friend? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to get you on the boat. We're going to take you out to Horn Island. We're going to get you a little bit of the alcohol poisoning. Maybe slip you a little fentanyl, something like that. And we're going to leave you there to sunbake and die. And that'll teach you to mess with Becky. That's what the internet's saying.
Oh, yeah.
In so many words here. So, of course, I posted a picture of the girlfriend. I screenshot a post that had the girlfriend. And here's what I said. So they post a picture of the girlfriend, and they go into this long diatribe. And they don't just say it, but there's a reason why they're doing it. And here's what I wrote when I shared this post. And I got to take a break after this. And we're going to revisit this at the top of the second hour. But I wanted to lay the groundwork because I know all you anger addicts are tuning in for the first time that discovered my page yesterday. So I'm going to give y'all a little bite at the apple here to let you know we are going to talk about this. And we ain't tiptoeing over anything. But I made a post that said, so predictable. Make no mistake, this post that I screenshot here is strictly for the culture to lay the groundwork and let everybody know that Nolan Wells had a white girlfriend, and to plant the seed in people's heads that this must be the reason why his white friends would have motive to unalive him on Horn Island, and further push the narrative that they were a gang of racists that wanted to teach him a lesson for having the audacity to date a white woman in Mississippi. I'm pointing this out because it's very predictable, and it's the same play they run anytime they lack physical evidence to create a race-based motive. And that's what they're trying to do here. They're laying the groundwork, building the foundation, trying to tell you all these things. When, in my mind, the coast is more of a melting pot than Jackson. Yeah. I'm not saying there ain't a racist or two down there, but you could clearly tell from the photos that this guy, I don't like the term token, but this wasn't a black guy that I think the culture would have wrapped their arms around up here in the ghetto. This looked like a well-to-do kid, no tattoos all over his face and neck. Just looked like he probably from a two-parent household. Just looked like he was very well put together. Good-looking kid, girlfriend's good-looking girl. And what it tells me is they had erased racism, and they opened their black friend up with open arms, white girlfriend and all, and they didn't care. And then unfortunately, and I've gotten some tips of what could have happened, and we may discuss that in an hour or two. I'll see. But anyway, wanted to lay the groundwork for you. That's going to be the show today in hour 2. But in hour 1, when we come back from this break, this whole show wouldn't even exist if it wasn't for CHOKWE Antar Lumumba and what he's done to Jackson, Mississippi. What the culture did to Jackson, Mississippi. Well, the final nail got laid into that coffin yesterday. He is going to prison. He pled guilty along with Jody Owens, Aaron Banks, Angelique Lee, and anybody else that was involved in the Jackson Convention Center Hotel bribery nonsense. And we're going to talk about that with Sean Yurkaran, who sat right here 2 years ago in this studio, broke the story with me, and we broke every major development in this story since then. Of course, we'll never get credit, but hey, you know, I know, he knows, she know, everybody know. That story broke right here on 103.9 WYAB with Sean Yurkaran and Clay Edwards. So we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to hit that. And then hour 2, we're going to jump back into this disappearance or death of Nolan Wells, and we'll take a look at some of the stuff and alleged evidence that has come out since. Don't go anywhere. Hit the like button, hit the share button, call a friend, call an enemy, call a carrier pigeon, tell them to tune it to 103.9 WYAB, watch the live stream, whatever it is you want to do, need to do, don't go anywhere. We're here till 9 a.m. this morning, like we are every Monday through Friday. 103.9 WYAB. We'll be right back. to the Clay Edwards Show, 103.9 WYAB. We are powered by the free testosterone screenings at Live Better Men's Health and Wellness. Before we bring in our guest, Sean Yurtkaran, this segment is going to be brought to you by our friends over at 042 Wine and Spirits. Guys, you're probably still shaking off the big 4th of July weekend, America's 250th birthday. But you probably ran out of your inventory there at the house. I think it's time to swing by 042 this week before the weekend gets here and restock from one of their over 400 different wines. How about one of their over 200 different bourbons and whiskeys, up to 50 different vodkas, 50 different tequilas, 50 different gins, and so many more options to choose from there, from small batch to some of your larger batch stuff. They got you covered. My friend Creston says he's going out there and found a hard-to-find item or two.
Yep.
And they got it out there, well inventoried, well knowledged, good folks, locally owned, award-winning, easy in, easy out, big parking lot, 042 Wine and Spirits, great folks. Love to have them here as part of the show. Whether you want Fireball or a hard-to-find item such as, Creston, what's a good hard-to-find item that you can get there?
Well, a lot of the BTAC stuff is starting to come back on the market pretty good. Your Buffalo Traces were, they were almost forgotten things. You couldn't find them anywhere. Now people have got them sitting on the floor, so it's getting a little better.
Yeah, the ABC inventory situation is getting
a little bit better,
getting itself worked out a little bit. So check them out. That's 042 Wine and Spirits right there, Highway 80, next to Sonny's Barbecue in Crossgates, Brandon. That's the 042, Brandon. All right. Also, what is today? Tuesday. Don't forget, today's lunch special at McBee's Bar and Grill is beef tips and rice. It's their busiest, most popular blue plate of the week. So get there early. Plates start serving at 11 a.m. to 2 or till it lasts. But, hey, they got other stuff, too. Hamburger steak with gravy, grilled chicken breast, or hand-battered country fried steak with a full assortment of vegetables. That's just the blue plate. They got a full menu with the Jackson area's best club sandwich. Their fried chicken sandwiches, whether you get the Nashville hot, or one of the other flavors, the buffalo, or any of the other flavors you want on it, it's 2 pieces of chicken breast on one bun. It's way too much food. It's overkill. But that's what we love about the South. We eat too much. And you're never going to leave McBee's hungry. That I will put my name on. Check them out. Buzzin' Red since 1982. McBee's Bar and Grill, Ridgewood Road, Ridgeland, Mississippi. All right, man, let's get back into it. Let's introduce Sean Yurtkaran, OneTextLaw.com, former 10-year technically, I guess, assistant DA, prosecutor right there in Hinds County. Sean, what's up, brother?
Good morning, man. Good morning. It's a brighter day, I guess, in the city of Jackson, isn't it?
It is. The butterflies are a little prettier. The sun's a little brighter. It's not as hot today. It just feels like a evil spirit has been lifted off of Jackson, off from above Jackson, and we can finally move forward. There's some closure, and I don't know. It just finally, I don't know what to say. I really exhausted myself yesterday, my feelings on all this, and it's just really good to know that Ding Dong CHOKWE is gone.
Yeah, I think it's kind of one of those things that I was thinking about it when I was walking the dog this morning. It's like one of those times when you win and you never usually win. The good result never comes out. It's always like the bad guys win. That's the way the world really works. Yeah. And the one time I'm like, did this really happen? Did the right thing really happen? Because you know how it is. The older you get, you start realizing that generally it goes the other way. And so these are one of those few moments when like the right result happened. And so you kind of pinch yourself, I think, because usually what I was expecting is like, well, there'll be some kind of issue, and then he's still going to go back and he'll run again and he'll be mayor, and you know how this works. And that's not going to happen now.
No, it's great. And so for people that don't know, the former mayor, CHOKWE Antor Lumumba, has pled guilty 1 week to the day after former Hinds County DA Jody Owens entered his guilty plea after we were told that they were going to fight this thing to the bitter end. They were going to go to trial. Also, Aaron Banks, former city councilman, also entered a guilty plea. Have we seen Aaron's plea yet? What he pled on, Sean?
As far as I know, it's just the same thing, one count of conspiracy. Aaron was only charged with 2 counts in that indictment. CHOKWE was charged with 5 and Jody 7. And they all pled to the count 1 conspiracy. Which
all of them are basically looking at 5 years was on conspiracy.
Yeah, 60 months, 5 years. That's their cap.
So I like it, man. Mm-hmm. I like it. It just feels good. I would have liked to see longer. I told you that on the live stream last night. I'd have liked to see 7 to 10 years, but you know what? 5. If they get out at 4, they got to behave for these 5 years too. And maybe, who knows what else could come out? Also, as the world turns here, we could find out some more stuff. But who knows? That's just me, with a little wishful thinking on my end there. But either way, 5 years, I'll take it. Sentencing is going to be in October?
October the 15th is Jody and CHOKWE's. I didn't see when they set Aaron's for, but I assume it's the same day.
Yeah. Creston, you were a Clinton cop for 30 years, and obviously you had to deal with the Hinds County judicial system and Jody Owens' office for the last, 5, 6, 7 years, however long he's been DA. What is your thoughts on all this and just kind of the public corruption and the loss of trust in that DA's office over the last couple of DAs from Robert Schuler Smith to now?
Well, it's one of those that we in law enforcement, we kind of take it on the chin because y'all don't never do anything. Y'all don't ever do anything. Well, we take them off the street, and it seems that we see the same ones over and over again because of different reasons. It's not just because of the
all-new iPhone 17 Pro is the ultimate pro. And once you experience it, you'll want...
Sorry about that. I don't know if y'all heard that or not. I was queuing up some audio and it started playing. Go ahead, Creston. I apologize.
I guess you didn't like what I was saying, but anyway. And it's one of those things that, it's not just because of the DA's office or just because of one thing. It's a multitude of things, so you can't point the finger and blame the DA's office. But then again, you got to understand it from this point of view. How many crimes do they have to prosecute in Hinds County, just in Jackson? Well, I mean, Jackson runs 100 plus murders a year for the last whenever.
I think last year was the first year they got sub 100.
They were sub 100 since 2020. So, you're how many of those actually get tried? And Sean, you can probably tell this better than anybody else. How many of those get pled out? How many of those never see a courtroom? How many of those never? They just go by the wayside. And you never hear anything else about them. So that's the things that we look at from our side.
Yeah, I think that if you out of that amount of murders, you got to look at which ones are actually solved, of course, as y'all know,
yep.
And then which ones have enough evidence to be presented to the grand jury to get a true bill, an indictment. So then you look at the indicted cases. So out of those, of course, the majority are going to be pled down. But if you look at that, that's from like a logistical perspective because there isn't enough courtroom time in 4 judges. Well, now there's 5. Damon Stevenson just got that special appointment. I think he's up for election this year. So you got 52 weeks in a year, and not every one of those is a criminal trial week. So when you kind of do the math there, how many murder cases can you feasibly try in a year? I'd say if your office with what they've got, if you tried 20, that's a lot. That's a lot of manpower based upon just the schedule. So it's severely understaffed. Not only just the DA's office, the amount of judges that we've got, the public defenders. And now we're going to have another problem come January where Hinds County is picking up Claiborne and Jefferson County.
I still can't believe that.
It's the dumbest thing I've ever. The legislature that obviously has never worked in the criminal justice system came up with this idea, and so now they're going to absorb those 2 counties. And I don't know what other resources they're going to get. I assume something. And there are several problems with that, and you've got a new Hinds County DA that presumably obviously is going to come from the Jackson area who's got no relationships with law enforcement in Claiborne or Jefferson counties, doesn't know the sheriffs, doesn't know the local cops. That's really important when you work at the DA's office.
Absolutely.
You have to have those kind of relationships. And they've got their own relationships with people in those communities. And it's just now you're gonna try to manage Jackson pretty much, and those two counties. So you've created another problem that is going to be very difficult to handle. And I think the legislature's thought was, hey, look, the population of the city of Jackson has reduced, so that's why we're doing this. Well, what didn't reduce was the caseload. So when you look at it from that perspective, it's going to be far worse, and it's going to impact the city of Jackson by having the DA's office spread thin between now these two extra counties. The thought process that went into this to me is as asinine. I can't believe they did this.
Well, Sean, not only the ones that are on the books already now, how many have we added over the weekend?
Exactly. Yeah, there's several. Right. All right. Yep. I mean, it's a holiday weekend though. You know how those go. Those are always the hot times for murders.
And those are rookie numbers. You got to push those numbers up.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. This sounds terrible. I've told Clay this story a million times, but we used to, me and my buddies at JPD we'd place odds on, well, it's Memorial Day weekend, so what do y'all think? 5, 4, what is it going to be? I mean, because it always was something.
We're at 44.
Those are the week.
Jackson's at 44 homicides, and as far as how many there were over the weekend, I kind of lost track. There was a lot down in the Adams County area. 2 mass shootings, and then another, I think, double killing at a gas station.
Well, that's the thing we've been seeing over the last, 3 or 4 weeks is Claiborne County's been a hotbed for killing folks.
Yeah, the Delta's hot. The Delta is definitely hot. Hey, look, let's take a break real quick. We'll be right back. We ran over in that first segment, so let's take a break real quick. We got Sean Yurtkaran, OneTextLaw.com, former 10-year prosecuting attorney right there in Hinds County. We've got, and he's now one of the most sought after criminal defense attorneys in the state. And we've got recently retired Clinton law enforcement officer for 30 years. He just retired in the last month, Creston Birch. Here in the studio, we're talking the fallout from CHOKWE Lumumba, Jody Owens, Aaron Banks, all pleading guilty and averting a trial, which would have been messy. We got a few things I want to get off my chest about it. I'm sure Sean does too. What's next for Jackson? Can it move forward? And top of the hour, we're going to circle back to the missing or to the dead kid down there on the coast, the tragedy that struck the Gulf of America this weekend with Nolan Wells disappearing and later being found dead there on Horn Island. Got a lot to talk about this morning, coming off a big America 250. This is the Clay Edwards Show, 103.9 WYAB. Y'all wild in the comments. I see them. I'm going to address all y'all. It must be interesting to wake up and let's put your comments back up on the screen here. It must be a miserable existence to wake up and think anybody gives a shit what y'all think, and to find out that nobody cares what y'all think. Because you're all terrible people. Nasty. Just nasty. Y'all think y'all can just come in and talk all the shit you want and be nasty and trashy and call everybody a racist and make all these overtly sexual comments and stuff and think that anybody cares. Nobody cares what you people think. It's called pattern recognition, and the pattern I see is just trash. This is why people don't want to be around y'all at the end of the day. I see just a lot of people who don't know me. Y'all just all posts go viral and y'all big mad about it. The culture can't stand it when anybody questions anything the culture says. Well, that's what we do around here. We don't stick our head in the sand. We demand accountability from the culture. And if y'all don't like it, kiss my ass. I don't care. People are tired of y'all shit. I just don't know how many different ways I can say it. We tired of it. I'm going to start selling a shirt that says Culture Right on it. I think that's my next shirt, Culture Right. And I'm going to donate all the money to Austin Metcalf's dad and family. I'm going to start donating the money from my shirt sales to these people y'all go after and whose lives y'all try to ruin with y'all's lies about racism. We may start a whole nother 501c3 or 501c3c or whatever the hell it's called, another charity, just to raise money and donate it to the families affected by false claims of racism from the culture. Oh, man, wouldn't that make y'all mad? I know that'd make y'all mad. But, yep. Well, we may work on that today. All right, we're in the middle of a commercial break. Y'all stay angry and just stay there. Hey, if you're a normal person, this is your chance. You had a bunch of crazy people in the comments here. Tell them what you think about them. Don't hold back. That's what they're doing. Just make sure you don't have where you work plastered on your Facebook profile. Tell them exactly what you think about them. They're a bunch of losers. Let them know. We're tired of it. We're tired of the culture rot. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show, 103.9 WYAB. Streaming worldwide on the Mazda Jackson live stream. Here on the radio as well at 103.9 WYAB. We got a lively audience on the live stream this morning. Don't like blocking folks, but when they get a little too out of hand, we will. I think like death threats are usually the line in the sand. Because what a rational way to disagree with somebody, you know, Preston. Like, tell me you lost an argument when you got to start sending death threats.
Absolutely.
To get it. And look, nobody takes these people serious either. So it's just this whole minstrel show of I'm going to say all these wild and crazy things, and you're going to get scared. No, I'm not. I'm just going to laugh at you. Because what I've learned about the culture is they try to kind of knock you off your center. They want to get you angry. They want you to say the word. We all know the word. They want you to say the word. And when you don't, they just look pathetic. And heck, even if you do, they still look pathetic. But it's just like they're allowed to push and push and push and say whatever they want, no matter what, no matter how nasty, no matter how racist, no matter what. But they're trying to get you to say the word. Oh, they can't stand it when you don't take the bait, when you don't lose your temper. And see, because what we call that over here is impulse control. Y'all should try it sometime. It's wonderful.
Well, that's the thing is, I was on the streets for 30 years, the police department. I don't think there's anything I haven't been called face to face with folks standing right in front of me. These folks online that are behind the keyboard saying all this kind of stuff, they don't scare me.
No, not at all. They're just yapping.
They are. They're trying to push the narrative. That's all it is.
Yep. They're upset that the culture's taking a lot of L's lately. Everything they told us wasn't true has, of course, all turned out to be true. And they're having to eat a lot of L's lately, whether it's up in Senatobia, Mississippi, or whether it's right here in Jackson, Mississippi. Sean, I want to circle back to a quote that I found after we got off our live stream yesterday from CHOKWE Lumumba. We were talking about we couldn't find CHOKWE quotes.
Yeah.
I did find a CHOKWE quote, and it says, "I am not guilty, and so I will not proceed as a guilty man." The mayor said then, "I will continue to handle the business of the city of Jackson while my attorneys continue to handle the business of these court proceedings." He pled guilty yesterday.
That's funny that you bring that up. That's a good quote for this thought I had. So I was talking to a really good friend of mine yesterday morning who's he's a current assistant DA, not in the Jackson area, but he was telling me about Jody's wife, who's a very well-respected OBGYN from all accounts, from what I hear. And apparently she had lost her job at UMC because of just the ongoing scandal. That was what was related to me. I don't know how that was the reason, but that's what I was told. So I don't want to defame UMC. That's just what I was told. And it made me think when you read that about CHOKWE, not only did these guys committed crime, I guess, against the citizens of Jackson, the way I look at it, but they also didn't really care about their families either to keep this going for 2 years, where this could have been resolved, within a reasonable amount of time. But we're talking 2 years later. Now, most criminal cases, of course, they take a while to resolve. I could see a year, but they pushed this to the limit the week before trial when it was getting real, when we knew what the end result here was, because as you and I have discussed many times on this show and other shows, there was never a question of guilt or innocence. There was not a question of guilt or innocence. It was just, for lack of a better way of putting it, a legal technicality. And CHOKWE's was better than Jody's. Jody's was the FBI got me wasted, which, as we all agreed, was absolutely ridiculous. And Chokwe's was a difference between what's called an official act and a ministerial act. But still, nobody said they didn't do it. Like that was never a question. In most cases, a lot of cases, like, did the guy do it? This was not one of those situations. We know they did it. There's videos. And I think they could have ended the pain for the city of Jackson. I know Jody could have ended it from the Hinds County DA's office quite a long while ago. And that only leads me to one conclusion, is that these guys, we're talking about some very selfish men.
Yeah. Well, again, like I said, we all knew they were guilty. They admitted to it. One claimed entrapment, and one claimed they took advantage of his alcoholism and entrapment. It was never I think Aaron's the only one who didn't come out and admit that he partook in any of this, but until yesterday, of course, when he finally pled. So it was never a fact of did they do, or a question, should I say, of did they do it. It was always, we know you did it, but how do we get there? And they got there yesterday with an overwhelming amount of evidence that was going to make them look really, really bad. And I imagine, probably just speculating here, showed some infidelity as well, potentially. And how much more of that can your family take?
Sean, I know you said yesterday that you wouldn't want to go through that long trial, and I understand why. The feds are going to take that W and go on about their business. They got what they wanted. But I really would have loved to seen all of the evidence. I've seen some. I saw a few pieces thereof. And, man, you talking about having your hand in a cookie jar with, getting pictures with 4K.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I wanted to see it too, Chris. I believe you. I'm just talking about having done that before. And you may remember, you said you were with Clinton for 30 years, right?
Yeah.
I prosecuted James Hutto.
Yeah.
And that case took about, a couple of years of work, and then it was a very lengthy trial. And I'm sure you know the facts of that. So just having been in that seat, that chair, that'll be some wear and tear on your butt. Let me just tell you that. So I can understand why they didn't want to do a 7-week trial, for sure.
No, look, man, it was all going to be very, very ugly. It was going to make them look really bad. They were going to lose anyway, and they were going to get more time than they would have with these plea deals. So, look, we are out of time for this segment here. Sean, I don't know if we got anything else to add to this. You got anything you want to say in the next 20 seconds?
No, just in the real quickly, like I pointed out the Jefferson Claiborne problem. I think that's going to be issued. I said that yesterday in the live stream. I think it's important that the next Hinds County DA not be somebody without any experience like Jody Owens. I think that's something that needs to be focused on.
All right, Sean Yarkaron, thank you, brother. We're up against the break here. We'll be right back.
Thanks.
Hold on. I didn't have my volume turned up. It says, first time watching. You are truly a dissatisfied, unsuccessful man who is publicly spreading hate and culture diverse. I don't think that's the word you're looking for. I don't think diverse is the word you're looking for. Try living by your own words. You're no different than them people you are speaking of. Only feel that you are right by entitlement. If you can dish out, then take it in. Bye. And hope God can change your heart. What does that mean? What is spreading hate and culture diverse?
I really can't decipher that. I know all those words, but together they're not.
Yeah, together they don't make any sense. There's nothing I hate more than somebody who tries to sound smart and string a bunch of words together, but because they're so used to typing in, ebonics, I guess the best way to put it, when they don't do that, it's like it's like a word salad. She just went full Kamala Harris on us here.
Yeah, absolutely.
I get big Kamala Harris vibes, but I do understand what she says when you are a truly dissatisfied, unsuccessful man. No, sweetie, I'm very successful. This is the number one morning talk show in the entire state of Mississippi, with one of the biggest online audiences as well as one of the biggest radio audiences in the entire state of Mississippi, if not the Southeast. And we do very well here. We do very well. We're not hip hop artists. We're not going to brag about money and material items and stuff, but let's just say that we do well here. So I don't know what you mean by unsuccessful. By every version of the word that you look up in the dictionary, unsuccessful would not describe what this show or my professional life is on any level.
Well, by the metrics of the people that quote and put on your websites the stuff that they do, you got people from all over the place that follow this show regularly.
Mm-hmm. You know, for better or worse, I don't care why you're tuned in, for love or for hate, you're here. You know, Howard Stern, who I'm not a fan of, they say the average Howard Stern listener listens to 2 hours a day, where the fan only listens to about 45 minutes. So, look, all your views count the same. Go 1039 WYAB. We got about 30 seconds here on the show to the top of the hour. And we may end up bringing Sean back. I thought Sean had to get on. So I'll text him during the break. But I thought he only had an hour. So we may end up bringing Sean back. But either way, when we come back, we're pivoting from Jackson. If we may open up the phone lines, we'll see. I don't know if I trust the callers today. So you may have to be a verified caller. Derek, call back at the top of the hour. We'll be right back. Let's keep talking during the break here. You can't do it with the headphones on.
Yeah.
But let's see here. Let me ask Sean, did he want to come back on? I'm moving on to next topic. You're welcome to join. I do apologize. Y'all stand with me 1 second here. I figured this is better than leaving y'all with nothing.
Yeah, I hope Sean does come back. I got a question for him. I would really like an answer to see what he thinks.
Yeah, no doubt. So one of the things I keep seeing here in the comments is, again, they hate the word y'all. Y'all. Now,
if you live in the state of Mississippi, you're going to use y'all for everybody anyway.
Yeah.
White, black, pink with purple polka dots. Yeah. It doesn't matter.
Well, I find it funny. The same group of people who continue to think that all white people move as a monolith get mad when somebody says y'all towards them. Like in the last 24 hours, I have been accused of and sent more photos and videos and screenshots of white people behaving badly, hurting children, stuff of that nature, and it's y'all. But the second I talk about y'all mad, it's, oh, how dare you use the word y'all. Can somebody give me a list of the words I'm not allowed to use when referring to black people?
I thought this was America, and you could say what you want to as long as you don't threaten somebody.
Yeah, I mean, again, can I just get a list of the words that are not available to that are not available for my use? Because I mean, if y'all is off the table, shit, man, I'm just going to quit doing the show because I probably say y'all more than any other word outside of my name. Y'all know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the culture right trash that is pushing this racist agenda.
And if you're not a member of that subculture,
yeah, then I ain't talking
we ain't talking about you.
No. I mean, it's real simple. If you're a member of these people who are pushing a race agenda before the evidence will come out, if you're one of the, if y'all are a member of the group that think Carmelo Anthony was acting in self-defense and that Austin Metcalf was somehow the bad guy, I'm talking to y'all. If y'all are the people who think that the girl up in Senatobia literally held her kid up to show the cops that she had a baby and that the cop then said, oh, look, I got one in my sights, let me pull the trigger, you're an idiot. I'm talking to y'all. That's who y'all is. The people who are always wrong every single time one of these race-based mainstream polarizing topics come about, and you're on the wrong side of history every single time. Y'all is who I'm talking about. So I hope that clears that up. If you fall in that group, y'all is who y'all is. If you don't, then I ain't talking to y'all.
The thing is, when a news story comes out, don't immediately go, that's what happened. Wait. Just wait. I'll say 3 days. and then start seeing what actually is being said. Don't listen.
We're back. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show here, 103.9 WYB, the 50,000 megawatt flame thrower. This is your daily dose of reality radio. It's hour 2. It starts right now. Boom goes La Dynamite. Here in the studio with me, I got my friend, recently retired 30-year Clinton law enforcement officer, Mr. Creston Birch, and we are powered by the free testosterone screenings over at Live Better Men's Health and Wellness. All you got to do is text Clay to 601-633-9017, and you can become idiot-proof just like I am with high testosterone. It's amazing what it does. It's just like I'm rubber, you're glue. What bounces off me sticks off you. It makes me repellent to stupidity. It's amazing what high testosterone can do. Hey, this segment is brought to you by our friends over at H&H Chief Sales. Wrote it right over there in Carthage, Mississippi. Look, do you need equipment that works as hard as you do? Get out to H&H Chief Sales and see my buddy, Mr. Noah Sullivan. They're located in Carthage. Thousands of you have already made the short drive to see H&H for the state's best deals on CM truck beds, Big Tex trailers, Wells Fargo enclosed trailers, and even rugged Candy electric utility vehicles. At H&H, their equipment is built for the farm, job site, hunting camp, and anywhere else around your property. H&H Chief Sales has got a huge selection. They got hometown service, and they got deals that are worth the trip from wherever you're at to Carthage, Mississippi. So visit Noah Sullivan today at H&H Chief Sales, Highway 35, North in Carthage, or anytime online at hhchiefsales.com. Hey, speaking of, well, we didn't talk about food there, but speaking of food, another great place serving a great lunch today are my friends over at both locations at Martin's, Livingston or downtown Jackson. And today's special is one of their busiest, if not their busiest, day of the week. It's the smoked ribs at Martin's. Either location, they are fall off the bone tender, award-winning. I've had them a few times, love them. My problem when I go to Martin's is I just can't peel myself away from the country fried steak to try any of the other specials other than meatloaf. But I've had it once or twice. The ribs are great. That's the blue plate special of the day. And, of course, you can get the country hand-battered country fried steak as well or anything else on their menu. Get by. See them today. And check out the Livingston location. They sell high-end quality meats that you can grab. They have a market on the front of the store. You can grab a lot of your favorite Martin's items, the tomahawk steaks, and cook it at the house. They have their pastas made in, ready to take home casserole dishes. Just throw it in the oven, warm it up, serve it, and you can be eating some of their Cajun pasta and so many of their other great dishes. I go by there and I get at least 2 containers of their pimento cheese. It's homemade. It's got jalapenos and stuff in it. Really good. I've tried to replicate it at the house and I just can't do it. And they got handmade or homemade fried pork skins, seasoned with different flavors. I do the barbecue and the pork skins and pimento cheese. Oh, it's the perfect snack. Low carb too. So if you're watching your figure, like we always are. Anyway, get by, check them out. Martin's Market right there at Martin's Livingston. And Martin's is expanding out there too. So stay tuned for that as the expansion draws closer. All right, man, if you're watching on the Mazda Jackson live stream, hit the share button, hit the like button, drop a comment, good or bad. I don't care. It's been a very colorful audience this morning. So look, let's reset here. I've got Creston Birch here in the studio with me. He just retired from Clinton PD. We started the show off before we talked about the stuff with the city of Jackson and all that. And I never thought that there would be a story, Creston, that would be bigger to me or in the moment than what happened with the mayor of Jackson being found guilty or entering a guilty plea on all this stuff and going to prison. Like my arch nemesis, CHOKWE Lumumba, going to prison. Like this is the creme de la creme. I even made an FAFO video yesterday. I retired the whole FAFO gimmick, the championships, the 2 belts, all that stuff.
I saw it.
Now, I'm not saying that it's forever. It's like a wrestling retirement. It could come back at any time. It can come back at any time. But for now, I'm not actively looking for people to give the FAFO award to. It retired with CHOKWE. I'd been saying for a long time that we were going to give it to CHOKWE, and that was going to be the end of it. And for now, it is. But things can change. Situations can change. And we will see if anybody else is worth giving it to. But as of right now, I brought out both belts. The original one that's autographed by Ric Flair, and then I brought out the newest one that I bought to replace that one when I got it autographed. I was like, well, I don't want to smudge up the autograph or anything like that. So we retired both belts. They'll stay on my bookshelf at the house, my trophy case, so to say. And CHOKWE and Lumumba, for now, can go down as the last FAFO champion. I guess you could say Jody and them too, but they were never my target, so to say. It was always CHOKWE and the Free the Land folks, and I've never let go of what they did to Jackson. I had a front row seat for what the culture did to Jackson, and that's why I dislike the culture. I've watched it destroy my hometown. I watch it destroy everything it touches, and that's just how I feel about it. And people get mad at me. Why do another group of people who think that they're the only people allowed to use the word culture. Well, I call it culture rot, because that's exactly what's happened in these urban cultures around America and these Democrat cities. The culture of those cities is to be a cancer and to destroy everything it touches. Kim Wade calls it Democrat death culture. And I just kind of spun it from there and called it culture rot. And that's what it is. And you can't deny it, because point out to me a city that is ate up with the Democrat culture rot that is striving in America right now. Is there a predominantly Democrat, and I hate to say it like this, but is there a predominantly black Democrat city? It ain't a white one either. I know that. Look, Portland is a hellhole. Seattle is a hellhole. Any of these predominantly white Democrat cities, they're ate up with the homeless crap and the national political stuff, drug use all on the streets and all that. The southern black Democrat cities, so we don't really have southern white Democrat cities.
No.
Yeah, I mean, there may be a college town here or there, I'm sure, like in Virginia somewhere, stuff like that. North Carolina, I hear about some like liberal cities there.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
That's more East Coast than it is the South, in my opinion. But I mean here, Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, Texas. Well, I guess you got Austin.
Austin, Texas, yeah.
Austin is a white liberal city. But for the most part, liberal cities in the South are predominantly black. And they are ate up with the rot, with violence, with crime. And, I don't know what you do to get out of it, honestly. I mean, I think you got to just start locking a lot of people up. I'm hitting an imaginary button here. Yeah. You got to hit the button and lock a lot of people up and start enforcing the laws. And I don't mean just law enforcement. I mean the judges doing their jobs and keeping these people in jail. And you got to stop incentivizing single motherhood and actually making crime punishable.
Well, it seems like, keeping them in jail is one thing, but, you actually get charged with a crime, you get put in jail, and before the weekend's out, they're doing your death notification. That just happened in Jackson this past, over the holiday. Guy gets put in jail for a murder and gets found murdered by a fellow inmate. According to what's been said, it was gang-related. I don't have anything to disprove that.
Oh, yeah, the deal in Hinds County. Forgot about that. Mm-hmm.
But the thing is,
that's a community improvement killing as far as I'm concerned.
In the Jackson metro area, you have at least 6 cities that surround Jackson. In the last 10 years, and I'm just taking the last 10 years, the murder rate inside Jackson is, I would say, 5 times, maybe even higher than all combined cities around it. How does that happen? How does the communities right around Jackson not have the same crime rate, the same killing rate? I don't get it.
Culture, leadership. That's it. It's culture and leadership. The cities like Clinton have a strong culture of doing the right thing. See, there's good culture and there's rotten culture. Culture is everything. You know, it's the culture of your house, the culture of your locker room. We talk about this all the time. What's the number one thing when a new general manager is brought into a business?
Change the culture.
Culture. What's the number one thing when a new coach is brought into a team? We're going to bring a winning culture here.
Yeah.
We're going to change the culture. Well, because those losers have a rotten culture. And sometimes it's just because you've been beat upside the head so much that you don't believe you can be a winner. And you all you think is that the only way out or the only way is a losing culture, is a criminal culture, is a dope culture, is a rot culture. And we're tired of it. The rest of us are tired of it. And it's so easy to change, but it has to start with you. There's nothing Creston Birch can do. There's nothing Clay Edwards can do. There's nothing any governor, mayor, anybody can do to make you want to change how you act.
No way. The only person that can change that is the person in the mirror.
Yeah, like I can't make y'all stop blaming all your problems on imaginary racism, on things that happened 50, 60, 70, 100 years ago, 200 years ago. I can't make you quit feeling like a victim. You got to wake up one day and say, victimhood be damned. I'm going to win today. I'm not going to let something that happened that didn't directly affect me today. Or you know what? Even if I dealt with some racism yesterday, I'm not going to let that affect me today. Why would I care what some complete stranger said to me or thinks of me? It doesn't matter. People are fed up. They're tired of hearing the excuses. I want y'all to win. I want y'all to start a radio show and come nip it at my heels and force me to bring the best product I can bring every day. Because you're biting at my heels to be number one. That's what I want. I want the best out of you. That's all I've wanted out of the black community in Jackson, is to stop killing each other, stop committing the crimes, do better, want to do better. You as Jacksonians, and I was one of you till 5 years ago when I finally realized we just weren't playing on the same team anymore. Because I want to see the city win. I did anyway. Y'all don't. Y'all want to see yourselves win at the detriment of the city through crime and rotten culture. And it's like everybody in the city was okay with, well, I don't care if the mayor and them are stealing, as long as it's somebody that looks like me getting over, because everybody does it. Everybody's done it. Yeah, you know what? The previous mayors, maybe they were stealing, maybe they weren't. But you know what? The red lights worked. The water worked. The garbage got picked up. The streets were still quasi-safe. You could go to a gas station without worrying about getting your head blown off by some thug and trying to shoot somebody else. You know, when city services and quality of life are satisfactory, a little corruption, it's not okay, but it's expected. You deal with it. It's the cost you pay. It's the price you pay to play the game. When you're not getting, when you have a mayor, a city councilman, multiple city councilmen, a DA, who are enriching themselves through corruption and the detriment of quality of life and city services, well, you know what? You begin to get a magnifying glass on all of the things that are going wrong, as well as the corruption. You can't have you can't suck at your job and be stealing from your job. It's like you can't be ugly and have a bad attitude. You can't be a fat girl and be a witch with a B. You got to have a redeeming quality. And there was no redeeming quality for the last 8 years out of the mayoral office in Jackson. Not a single one that I can think of. Unless you're just satisfied with the fact that he pissed off the Republicans. And if that's your only redeeming quality, is that the people you don't like also don't like him, well, that's a sour way to look at life. And you're not going to make it very far in life if that's how you feel about it. I know this segment was supposed to be about the situation down on the coast, and when we come back, it's going to be. But I kind of wanted to have a little bit of closing thoughts on the whole deal with the mayor of Jackson and all that. That chapter's closed. We won't revisit it again until their sentencing, which I don't think is going to be very climatic. It's going to be pretty anticlimactic. They're all looking at about 5 years. I don't think Angelique Lee's going to serve any time. I think she'll get house arrest, probation, something like that, since she was the first one to the courthouse. And she also kind of gained the least as of anybody. So we'll see. They have moved to the Bar Association has moved the Supreme Court to remove Jody Owens' law license. I expect the same thing to happen to CHOKWE, and we'll see how it all shakes out. Now, John Horn, the past is behind us. It's time for you to grab the reins and take Jackson to the next level. And you took a big step back with the hiring of this police chief. I want to see that wrong righted here soon. But until then, we shall see. All right, when we come back, we're going to go back to talking about the disappearance or the death of Nolan Wells down on the coast and the online reaction trying to make it all about race when we don't even know cause of death yet. So stay tuned. This is the Clay Edwards Show. And I got a little tip from somebody down on the coast, somebody with some inside knowledge about what happened. We're going to share that, but keep in mind it's all speculation, rumor, and innuendo. So take it with a grain of salt. I'm not giving it to you as confirmed evidence, confirmed proof or anything. But it is kind of showing the other side of it that doesn't blame racism as cause of death. This is the Clay Edwards Show, 103.9 WYAB. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show, 103.9 WYAB, streaming worldwide on the Mazda Jackson live stream. This segment is brought to you by our friends over at Ellis Autoplex. Guys, swing by there today. Check out Ellis Autoplex, Highway 471, Brandon, Mississippi. If you're in the market for a pre-owned, four-door, four-wheel drive pickup, F-150, Ram, GM, Chevrolet, Toyota, man, they got you covered. All your favorite brands with a heavy, heavy emphasis on Ford F-150s, 250s. If you can dream it, they probably got it. But, hey, they got cars and SUVs too, so no matter what you're looking for, consider Ellis Autoplex first. And never forget they buy vehicles. They pay top dollar for your vehicle. Don't go sell it to some crazy on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist. And if you saw my Facebook comments right now, you wouldn't want to touch Facebook with a 10-foot pole, much less try to trust one of these people to meet them somewhere. You don't want to do that. Man, all these fake counterfeit checks rolling around here, the last thing you want to do is try to trust somebody off Facebook to meet them anywhere. Take your vehicle to Ellis Autoplex. Let Casey make you a fair market value offer and cut you a check for it today. You check them out online, ellisautoplex.com. All right, so I got a text from a girl last night. Now, look, I don't know the girl. She claims to be from down there, claims this all happened in her neck of the woods, that her kids went to school with the Nolan kid that died. And I just want to say up front, this could all be false, but I don't believe it to be. I believe it to be pretty accurate, and you can kind of piece the puzzle together after you read some of this. Because there's a big conspiracy, Creston, that, one of these kids' parents is a judge. Why did they lawyer up if they ain't got nothing to hide? Well, when the whole internet has turned against you and trying to blame you for the death of somebody, smart people lawyer up and shut up. And you let the evidence.
You have a right to remain silent, and some people just forget they have that right and don't have the ability.
That's right, man. I had the right. I just didn't have the ability to remain silent. So we're going to read this, and hopefully it kind of sheds a light on a little bit. But there's never anything wrong with getting a lawyer when you're being even associated with a crime.
And that doesn't say anything about your guilt or innocence.
No.
Either way.
No. And let me ask you this. As a 30-year cop, if somebody is being just associated with a dead body, do you think it implies guilt. Did you ever see it imply guilt to you if they lawyered up?
No. Has nothing to do with either way.
If somebody refused to talk to you in a interrogation room, it's like, nope, I'm not talking until I get my lawyer. Did you ever think, oh, they're guilty?
Well, there's a difference between not talking and not talking.
Right. Absolutely. That makes perfect sense. So let's read this, and I want to lean into your 30-year law enforcement kind of as we go with this. Well, I'll read the whole thing, and then then we can dissect it.
Sure.
So it says, this is my neighborhood here that the boy went to school with my kids. It's a feeding frenzy, and it has turned into some nasty race game that has no place. As far as evidence goes, it just looks like a swimming pool accident. All the posts about his friends left him as false. He chose to stay to chase after some girl. He left his phone on the boat because of several factors. He was drinking in the sun all day. That's the first thing that I thought about. Just drinking in the sun, passed out, and that sun got him dehydration.
Yeah, it was a holiday weekend.
Yep. I'm telling you, this is a former 18-year-old boy who liked to go hard. It said there's no service. So it says he left his phone on the boat because of several factors. He was drinking in the sun all day. There is no service on Horn Island. That is a nice thing to remember there. A phone is nothing more than a paperweight out there on Flag Island or Horn Island. It says water and electronics do not mix well. So he's like, hey, I may get wet. Y'all take my phone, and I'll catch up with you. All right, let's see here. And he had a girl on the brain. His friends assumed he was going to ride with her. At some point, the girl and boy separated. She was actually the last one to see him. The fact that they lawyered up was smart move because one of the parents of the children he was with is a judge. So it makes sense for a judge to immediately retain a lawyer. And since the very first post about the boy missing, there were immediate accusations related to foul play and hate crimes. The problem we have right now is a lot of poorly informed people are posting false information and spreading hate needlessly. Until foul play is found, it is absolutely tasteless to be making accusations about a bunch of kids. How would you feel if your friend died and everyone accused you of something nefarious? Look, let's circle back to the thing about the lawyering up and a judge being a parent. This is the part I hate about when the culture decides that, racism is the cause of death, because especially when the people are younger like this, because then they start going after the parents, and then you have a judge. You have a career, you have cases, you have a million political reasons and personal and professional reasons to lawyer up and make sure that this is handled properly, and to also kind of recuse yourself from it a little bit and let the lawyer handle it, because you don't want to look like, as a judge, you're flexing any muscle, so to say, favoritism, favors, whatever. I think it's perfectly normal for somebody to retain a lawyer. Hell, if I get anything more than a speeding ticket, I'm retaining a lawyer.
Yeah, I was going to comment, this ain't no speeding ticket. Sorry for my English teacher.
Yep. Yeah, let's say anything more than a speeding ticket, I'm getting a lawyer. If I'm getting associated with something like this, damn right I'm getting a lawyer. And I'm not saying a word. I'm sure these boys would love to jump on social media and defend themselves and tell their side of the story. I bet they're chomping at the bit. Imagine being an 18-year-old, 19-year-old accused of something like this. They're having to deal with the loss of their friend, and they're being found guilty in a court of public opinion and not able to leave the house. You got a crazy mob of angry black folks down on the coast. Would just love to find them at a gas station or anywhere else. And these folks are fearing for their lives right now, and all they're guilty of right now is having a black friend.
Yeah.
And I go back to what I said at the very top of this show. Situations like this are going to lead to parents having white parents having a tough conversation with their kids about who they hang out with for a whole different set of reasons than they should. It's one thing to say you don't need to hang out with that kid because they're a bad influence, they're this, they're that. The last thing you want to do is have to have a conversation with them and say, hey, look, I hate this. Nolan's a good kid. I don't have no problem with him. But, man, if something was to happen to him while y'all are out on that boat, all these crazy people on the internet that don't know Nolan either, but because they share a complexion, they may decide in the court of woke that you're guilty of the worst crime in the world, not murder, but racism. And they're going to come after us. They're going to come after you. Everybody's lives are going to be ruined in a terrible domino effect. And nobody wants that. That's not a conversation anybody wants to have. But inevitably, it may not even be a real conversation. It may be a silent conversation. Groups of people right now are seeing this, thinking to themselves, man, is it worth it? Is it worth it to have this friend? That's tough. That sucks. Those words even coming out of my mouth this morning are terrible. But it's a reality that these people are pushing towards.
It is. And you hate to see it. I've got people that live on my street that are of a different race and a different color. Mm-hmm. We have no problems. They do them, we do us. And we meet in the middle sometimes. We help each other out. We do things. My kids have helped, my fellow neighbors out. It's not a thing if you don't make it a thing.
Mm-mm. Hey, look, man, growing up, I was talking to my parents about this yesterday. As a 48-year-old man, having the same conversation with my parents yesterday. And they brought up, they said, man, Clay, your best friend growing up was black. And that was never a conversation about him being black. He lived at our house. You lived at his house. We disagree politically, but I still consider him a brother to this day. My daughter, her best friend, one of her best friends, if not her best friend, a black girl. And I've never looked at her any different than any other friend. They've been spending the night at each other's house since second, third grade. Still, they were out together this weekend, And I've never once, and I never would have that conversation. But everybody's not me. There's going to be groups, and my daughter's 25 too. Not 18. So they're adults, and they can have their own, make their own decisions and whatnot.
Absolutely.
And, but it's not the friend we're talking about. It's not the family of the friend we're talking about. It's the internet and the culture going on these mob witch hunts of white people who just so happen to have the misfortune of being in the presence of somebody black when something bad happened.
Yeah.
It's really tragic.
And I see, comment after comment going, well, should we tell our kids not to hang out? We're not saying that.
No.
We're not saying that at all. It's just that the folks on the internet are blowing this stuff so far out of proportion that it was immediately, it was racism. There was no other answer but racism.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh, look, he had a white girlfriend. Well, I could look at the kid until he had a white girlfriend. The way he carried himself, how clean he was, how tattooless he was, how he didn't look like he fit the culture. And I'm telling you, this is a guy with tattoos from shoulder to wrist here. There's just a difference. I can look at a black kid who hangs out with all white guys and tell you he's probably dating a white girl. It didn't take a rocket scientist to figure this one out. It just doesn't. But they put that out there and say, oh, here's the girlfriend, to try to lay the groundwork that, whoa, this must be a jealousy thing, or these evil racist white guys must have had to kill him because he had a white girlfriend, when that couldn't be further from the damn truth. I'm just telling you this as a guy who grew up with a black best friend. I really don't even like calling him best friend. I damn sure don't like referring to him as black, but I guess context matters. He was more like a brother. All of his girlfriends were white. The entire time we were best friends growing up. They would be in the back bedroom doing what people do. And never once did Clay Edwards, the guy that gets accused of being the biggest racist in Mississippi, falsely, I mind you, never once did I get mad and like, oh, I can't believe that black guy's back there having sex with a white girl. That's just not how people think. Now, I'll give you this. Maybe it's one of those guys, I'm just playing this through, trying to think of what could anger somebody. Now, maybe it's one of their ex-girlfriends, or maybe they saw one of her ex-boyfriends there and he got mad that his girl was with somebody else, possibly. But I guarantee it wasn't solely because, oh, she's with a black guy. That just ain't how people think, especially the younger generation. It just ain't how people think. I'm a proud Gen Xer. I still proudly say that we ended racism in the 80s and 90s with my generation. We put a nail in that coffin, and it stayed dead until Black Gen X decided to revive it around 2008 with the election of Obama and the Trayvon Martin debacle. Creston, we got to take a break real quick. This is the Clay Edwards Show here, 103.9 WYAB. We are burning it up on a Tuesday morning. We're talking about the tragic death of 18-year-old Mississippi college football player, former Ocean Springs high school football player, Nolan Xavier Wells, down on the coast this weekend, down on the Gulf of America at Horn Island. It's a tragic deal, and the internet is not making it any better by trying to blame his friends before we even know a cause of death. We'll be right back. 103.9 WYAB. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show, 103.9 WYAB. The segment brought to you by our friends over at Cowden Electric. Guys, are you in the market for a new home emergency generator? So when the power kicks off, big thunderstorms came through last night, man. Very easily could have kicked the power off. You would have never known it if you had a home generator, emergency generator. When the power kicks off, it kicks on seamlessly. But hey, you can't don't want to flip the bill for a full home generator. That's all right, man. He can come out and select just a few breakers and tie them in where you just plug in your portable generator and it'll run the designated breakers for maybe just your air conditioner, your freezers, whatever it is you want to run. That way you're not having to run a bunch of extension cords. Now, let's be honest. There ain't no running an extension cord from your air conditioner to your generator. They ain't a plug. It don't plug in like that. So they can customize your breaker box where you can plug your generator into it and run the breakers of your choice, whether it's air conditioners or whatever else, lights, etc., certain rooms. That way you don't have to try to run the whole house. Reach out to Cowden Electric today, Cowden, Cowden, electric.com. And don't forget, if you have an electric vehicle, Tesla or Hummer or any of the other ones, every car company makes them now. You want to get that home turbocharger plugged up, set up, so you can charge it quick without having to just plug your car into an extension cord. Cowden Electric hooks those up as well. Give Marty and the team a shout today. CowdenElectric.com. And, of course, they do everything else electric, too. You got a remodel, anything else you need done, hanging new lights outside, security lights, whatever. They got you covered at Cowden Electric. Oh, yeah, bad deal here on my headphones. All right, let's see here. Let's read some text on the LS Autoplex text line. And we got a bunch of them this morning. The unknown texter says, the culture in the cities are too busy denying there is a problem or pointing fingers at other cities, minor crimes, than facing reality and trying to fix the issue. Deny and deflect will never make things better. I know. I find it funny, Creston, that we'll sit here and we'll talk about Jackson being the murder capital of the world. And one of the things that I saw on my live stream last night, and it's something I see a lot, is when we talk about, inevitably the black-on-black violence in the state of Mississippi, whether it's in Jackson, Claiborne County, Adams County, or anywhere else. Yeah, but white kids shoot up schools. Yeah, y'all got y'all's kids as mass shooters. Well, while that sucks, and I say if one of them do that, give them the electric chair, give them the lethal injection. I'm not going to be defending them. I'm not going to blame the fact that they went and did that on their upbringing, on poverty, on the fact they didn't know their daddy or anything like that. I don't care. You're a sicko. You deserve to be next. Whatever the worst punishment we can give them is. Same thing. They like to bring up the PDF files and say that there's that more white people inappropriately touch children. And again, statistically not true, but it appears that way because the criminal justice system in predominantly white areas prosecute it more. Also, there's not a culture of staying silent when you've been a victim in our communities either. People come out and they speak out about it and they press charges. and those people are prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. We're proud of that. Not proud that it happened, but we're proud that the victim felt like speaking out and that the authorities did their damn jobs and followed through and prosecuted these people. You ain't seeing Clay or anybody else out there holding up a free whoever sign or my baby didn't do nothing when they've touched a child or shot up a school or any of these other things that we somehow get lumped on us because of stereotypes. And look, nobody says it more than I do. Stereotypes are earned, not given. We don't associate with that. There is no I'm my brother's keeper with all white people. That's just not how we roll. If somebody white does something stupid and against the law, prosecute them. I don't care. I'll shame the hell out of them when it happens.
And you've done that on every account we come up with.
Every time I get an opportunity to, I'll tell you, I will break my fingers pulling over on the side of the road to make a post when I see somebody white did something worth posting about. And people all the time, well, why ain't you post about the girl that stole this, the county clerk that stole this money, da-da-da-da-da. Do we want to get into the petty stuff, the petty crimes? Do y'all know how much black petty crime I ignore and don't post? Because if we're going to get into that, y'all going to be way more angry than you are now, I promise. Because there's just way more of it, just based on the population of the area, the demographics of the area.
Yep.
Because I'm not looking for crimes committed by white people in Alabama and Texas and Michigan, and I'm not having to go all over the world to find these things. I rarely have to leave the Tri-County area to talk about the things that are happening close to me.
I saw a comment earlier, somebody that either lived in Chicago or still lives there, that said when Chicago points the finger at Jackson, saying, at least we're not that bad.
Let's take a call here from Derek. I think it's Derek, isn't it? Yeah, let's take a call from Derek. Hey, brother, you got about 2 minutes.
Hey, Clay, what's going on, brother?
How you doing, man?
Hey, I just want to say, you're a racist.
I try.
Hey, no, listen. Hey, I want you to do something for me. It's a little homework assignment for you guys. Look up an author named Miles Monroe and the poor man's mentality, and you'll see why people like Antar Lumumba and Banks and Jody Owens are the way they are. And Dr. Monroe, who was a Caribbean, breaks all that down about leaders like him when they ascend to the throne of leadership. And you'll see why it is so prevalent in the so-called upper echelon of the black community, because they have that insidious need of trying to feel some type of unspoken wrong that never, or unwritten wrong that never happened to them. And Miles Monroe breaks that down beautifully.
Yeah, I just wrote it down. Miles Monroe, poor man's mentality. I got it.
Yeah, it's either poor man's mentality, poor man's syndrome. He bases out the Bible scripture from the Wisdom of Solomon. Woe unto the land when a slave ascends to the throne of a king. Yep. Miles Monroe's thesis says, woe unto the land when a poor black man or poor man ascends to the throne of leadership, because he won't use the leadership to enrich others, he'll do it to enrich himself, because that's that need of wanting to have abundance and not having enough, even though to our eyes, somebody that's an attorney and a city councilman, why do you feel like enough ain't enough? So, and when you get a chance, look that up. And as far as the guy on the coast, I think everybody should wait till everything plays out to see what happens. He could have drowned. We don't know.
Yep, I think it's going to be something along there. They found him on the island, so I don't know, but I don't think it's anything nefarious. I truly don't. I think it's all going to be a very, very unfortunate set of circumstances that led to it. And I'm telling you, as a guy who, at 18 years old, went out and caught himself a case of the alcohol poisoning by drinking too much, and if it hadn't been for my friend Sonny recognizing that I had drank too much when I was passed out in a bar parking lot throwing up blood, everybody said, "Oh, take him home, let him sleep it off. Take him home, let him sleep it off." So things like, "No, something's wrong," and took me to the hospital. They said if I got in there within 5 minutes. If I'd been 5 minutes later getting there, I'd be dead. So, very easily could have been what happened to him. He passed out, dehydrated with alcohol poisoning. And I'm not saying that happened. Law enforcement said there's nothing points to that yet, but they'll have to look at the autopsy. Derek, hey, I got to let you go, brother. We're up against the hard break. Great call. Thank you. I'm just telling you, you have to live enough life and have to done enough stupid things sometimes to know that things aren't always as they appear. And I've lived enough life and done enough stupid things that I know how fragile life is beyond just being shot. And a lot of these people, the only death they know is gunshots. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. I want to keep talking through the break here. You know, a lot of the people in these areas, the only kind of death they're aware of is because so many people die of it is violence.
Yep.
You know, they haven't had to experience too many people, folks dying of cancer, folks dying of alcohol poisoning, folks dying of these other ways because, again, in the culture, it's simply violence so often that, let me just ask you this, and this is a hypothetical kind of question as much as anything. I know you don't keeping a track of this, but when you work urban deaths, or did you see a lot of natural causes for people, let's say 25 and under, or was it violence, car wrecks, stuff of that nature? When I say natural causes, I mean, I'm calling alcohol poisoning a natural cause, cancer, stuff like that, drug overdoses.
Luckily, in my career, we didn't have that many unnatural deaths in the city of Clinton. That's a great thing to say.
Maybe the best way for me to ask that would be non-homicides. Non-homicide deaths.
Absolutely, and that just doesn't get printed on the front page of the paper, for lack of a better term. But the old saying, if it bleeds, it leads. Mm-hmm. That's what gets printed on the front page, not the 2 or 3 car deaths that occurred, unless there's nothing else going on.
Yeah.
But in the metro area, city of Jackson, that's not usually the case.
Right. All right, guys. I appreciate everybody, for better or for worse. A big show, over 10,000 views last time I checked. Let's see here. On Facebook alone, 480 some odd comments. So that is a successful show by all measurable means of keeping up with it. Like I said, I knew today was going to be a very polarizing show. I knew that the haters were going to be out in full force, and hey, I love it. Because you all commented in my feed there, I will now own your timeline. You will have to block me not to see my stuff. And that's a win-win for me either way.
Yep.
Either you block me and I never have to hear from you again, or I make money every time you see my post. Either way, winner, chicken dinner. Welcome to the FAFO Army. If you're somebody who's sat back silently today and you agree with some of the things that have come out of my mouth, check out my website, buyfafo.com, and grab a shirt, a flag, a sticker, a hoodie, whatever, and rock it and let folks know that you support sanity and freedom, the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, and just America. And you're tired of the culture rot. The FAFO shirt, hoodie, the logo with the Clay Edwards Show attached to it is the Mississippi MAGA. You want to trigger a liberal? Wear this shirt. Now, it ain't for the faint of heart. I'll see y'all back here tomorrow. Be blessed.